I hate sound leveling.
Welcome to Grumble Goat. My name is Matt Labodka, and this is a show about all the small things that drive me insane. Let's grumble.
What is going on with sound leveling these days? The sounds on the TV are bonkers. We all know that the commercials get loud. Sure, okay, fine. But nowadays our TVs are smart TVs, and they say they have a feature that is a volume maximizer, so your commercials won't get louder, but they still do. And it's because the smart TV manufacturers, they're in on it. Because with the smart TVs now, you have your menu at the bottom that has Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Go, but then it also has a little ad for something. There's one box that's just premiering Tuesdays, this. There's always an ad in the corner. So, the smart TVs are in on it. They're getting their cut of the ads, and so they're letting it through. They're letting the commercials be loud. Okay, fine. Commercials are loud. We've lived with that for a long time. But what's happening in the actual shows? Because you'll be watching your lighthearted comedy, and all the voices come through crystal clear. You can hear every word they're saying. You do not miss a punchline. Great, fantastic. But next comes on House of the Dragon, and the characters whisper something dramatic to each other, but you can't hear it over the breathing of the dragon, or this very dramatic undertone that comes up and swells right when they're saying something dramatic. But what did they say? Why am I turning on closed captioning when the actors are speaking English? I speak English. This shouldn't be a problem. Everything about their leveling is off. We all know those shows are also too dark. The light leveling is bonkers because the screen is practically dark. The only thing you can see is the torch that a character is holding. You can't see faces. You can't see things. They're they react to something. You're I don't see anything on the screen. There's nothing there. It's practically a podcast at this point. And, by the way, a poorly leveled podcast, because a podcast, you're going to hear the voices. But there's so many films that are like this nowadays, where the soundtrack is twice as loud as any of the actors talking. All your movies are leveled as if everybody has 5.1 surround sound and they control the volume of their different speakers. But I'm not sitting there with a soundboard while I'm watching TV, raising levels. That was the sound editor's job. What are you thinking? Can we please figure out a standard to voice to music so that the voices aren't going all the way down here as the music swells and you hear something very dramatic come out of the actor's voice? And then it's President's Day sale. Get yourself down to the local mattress firm, folks. And then previously on the show you were just watching, I hate sound leveling, and that's the Grumble.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
What?
Grumble, 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 grumble. What's got your goat?
For the latter half of the show, we'll bring in my better half, Veronique, for an unpretentious look and a segment we call
What's got your goat?
Veronique, welcome.
Welcome.
You look gorgeous today.
Thank you.
All right, let me get some levels from you. How you looking? Show me some bubbles.
I'm excited now, and now I'm not excied.
Oh,
what are you
perfect.
talking about?
You're coming in loud and clear.
Great.
Great, fantastic.
Great.
Are you ready to begin?
I'm ready to grumble. Do you like my shirt?
Garden State Parkway.
Represent.
I've seen that sign many times.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
take the Garden State Parkway sometimes.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To go down to our favorite vacation home.
Cape May.
Cape May. Yeah. Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be a lovely place to set a rom-com movie.
Oh, you know what? It
What's
would.
it? Yeah, it sure would.
With a twist.
With a twist.
Oh.
Ooh, a movie with a twist.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Don't tell me that she doesn't end up with the boy that she begins the movie with.
I can't tell you.
Fantastic.
What are we here for?
So, Veronique, you
Yes.
you went to the theater yesterday?
I did.
Oh, you saw a play.
I did.
Yeah. How was that?
It was good. I'm not going to go into a detailed explanation. We don't have time for that.
We don't
And
have time for that. This is a Grumble Goat. We have to move.
We got to move. But I saw a theater. Yeah.
Great. Okay. And
I
you
saw a
enjoyed a
show.
couple of the actors?
Okay. Yeah. It was a very intimate space. I really like the space.
A small space.
Small, very small.
Intimate
space.
is the theater word for small.
Very small.
Yeah.
I've been seeing more theater recently.
Great.
I've been seeing all the theater.
Now, all right. You enjoyed one of the actors.
Yeah.
Was he speaking loud enough that you could hear all his lines?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Because it's an intimate space.
It was an intimate space.
So you can hear everything people
It
say.
was like anyone having a conversation, you could hear it. That's how small this space was.
Oh, so if the person behind you knew the show and they were whispering the word, you could hear all of it?
Yes, but it was a new play.
Uh-huh. So
based-
obviously nobody was a huge fan of the show and came back having memorized the whole script. Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's one nice thing about intimate theaters is you can hear everybody.
Well, what was interesting about the show that I saw last night was there were a lot of television and film actors.
Oh, television and film actors.
Yeah, that they had the TV credits.
Oh.
And a lot of the times they speak Like it's very real, right? Because the camera doesn't lie. It shows everything.
Right. TV actors are used to being very intimate, very dramatic.
You have to really be thinking through every single thing that you're saying because the camera can tell if you're lying.
It can read your mind.
It can read your mind.
Yeah.
We can read your mind.
Yes. That's the beauty of watching television. You can read the actor's mind.
Yeah, but because the space was so tiny, it didn't matter. They were speaking full voice and their intentions were there and it was great. They did a fantastic job.
That's great.
Now, all of the shows that I've seen recently, you could hear everybody.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's great.
But I think I've been seeing a lot of Broadway, not to brag, but I've been trying to go to see more Broadway shows.
Broadway does a good job of miking people.
They mic people, yes.
And yeah, they work on sound a lot.
Yes. Have you ever been in a scene with someone and not heard what they said?
Like in a scene on stage with someone and you can't hear them?
Yes.
Wait, you're on stage with another actor sharing a dialogue with that person and you can't hear what they say?
Yes. They're talking so softly, so intimately, so intensely that you didn't even hear it.
Well, if you're on stage with them and can't hear them, what's the point of even saying the words?
Well, exactly. You should talk louder. Yeah.
That's rule number 1 of acting. Talk louder.
Talk louder. Well, it's hard because we are trained to talk in a certain way to have our voices carry. And there's a way in which to do that for the sound to go to the end of the room.
Right.
And it's actually kind of hard because if you're doing like a self-tape audition, as a theater actor, you're like, I need to hit the wall. But the camera is so close. You just have to hit the camera.
Right. You just have to hit the camera.
What an adjustment.
You got to keep it down a little bit.
You got to keep it down. You got to keep it real.
You got to keep it internal. You have to feel the words more than speak them.
They're going to flow out of your body and your eyeballs.
Yeah. So on stage, it's the actor's job to project the words loud enough for the audience to hear them.
100% and feel.
Have you ever been watching a television show and couldn't hear the actors?
Yes.
Now, whose fault is that? Because in a theater, it's the actor's job to make sure everyone hears them. But in a TV show or film, it's not the actor's job to make sure they're heard.
Sound editing. Sound. Yes, when it's so quiet, you can't hear what they're saying. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
What are we even doing? There's a whole team of people, editors and sound editors, directors, and all these people before it gets to our eyeballs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How is it that sometimes you can't hear what an actor says?
I don't know. Also, it being so dark. I know you want to shoot it dark, but my gosh, I can't see it.
Yeah, I feel like we're playing like highlights for kids, like find that image sort of thing. Like what's different about these two pictures?
And that show is so exciting and fun. I want to see every single part of it, you know?
Right.
I don't need to believe that I was on the balcony where the dragons are going and it's that time of night. You know, like, it gets my goat. More than actors not speaking this.
Oh, you're pulling your hair in front of your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it's hard to even see somebody's face. Well, I'm liking this. I'm enjoying this.
No, you're not. You can't. You're not supposed to enjoy it. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be infuriating and not sexy at all. This is not. This is not sexy. This is not.
You're doing everything right.
No, this isn't sexy. Hey,
Grumble Goat's gonna take a brief break.
That drives me insane when in scene study class.
You're pulling down your hair. Is it when the actor pulls down the hair or is it when it's just in front of their face? I can't tell if the action of it.
It's this. Hi, I'm here for the job. Are you here for the job? I'm here for the job.
Who are you talking to right now?
I'm talking to the imaginary character, but the audience is you. And you can't see what's happening because there's hair in my face.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
You certainly yelled at me for not opening up to the audience in Cape May.
Well, you should know by now. You should know back acting, and you should know by now.
There are some moments that you don't have to directly face the audience.
It's true, but you can't talk upstage.
You were just afraid that like 2 rows wouldn't be able to see your face at the moment.
Sorry. I need to be seen.
And heard.
And heard.
It's very important. We're talking about sound mixing today.
I bet you love this. That's what I do. I know that now because of the podcast.
Nowadays, now that I do edit sound, now that this is my full-time job, I do notice little things in sound all the time, constantly.
Like on TV and movies and everything now?
Movies, other podcasts, music even. I notice breaths. I notice tongue clicks. If there's like a saliva bubble in your mouth, and when you move your tongue, the saliva bubble in your mouth pops.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, my ears attuned to those weird little things that, like, most it's a normal part of speech.
Right.
And like we gloss out in our minds
don't
because like
hear
whenever somebody talks, there's saliva, there's plosives, there's breaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this must really affect your daily life, hearing all this sound everywhere. Do you ever wish...
It's not in real life that it bothers me. I do notice breathing patterns more, but it doesn't bother me in real life. It bothers me when I hear it recorded.
Well, you did a deep dive into sound engineering.
Yeah, during COVID.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I went a little crazy.
You were like upset. Like it was like I couldn't tear you away from the computer. Like you were learning.
I was absorbing. I
commend you
got
for
crazy
that.
about sound editing.
No, that's amazing. I'm happy you did. I think
I
our
got crazy about it,
and
that's why this podcast sounds so good. I hope. Cross my fingers. You know what's annoying?
What?
There's no sound leveling in real life.
I wish there were. I
like
wish
if we can be walking through the park and there's like it's like soft and quiet and there's bird chirping and we're talking at a reasonable level.
Yeah.
And then we walk down into the subway and all of a sudden there's screeching and engines and loud.
What I don't like is I like to listen to my sounds. There's like ambient sounds that helps my ADD. And
So
I really
in
like
real life, you add your own ambient sounds to the background.
Yes, and then I function better. It's very nice, actually. What I don't like about going down in the subway is so loud I can't hear.
Right. You
I
got
have
to crank
turn
up
it
your
all
ambient.
the way up, and then I feel like I'm making myself go deaf just to listen to ambient noise and sounds, and then I don't like that.
See, this is why Mark Zuckerberg is on to something with the meta.
What are you?
Because if we were all meeting each other in the meta, we could just turn up every individual user or turn down every individual user at need.
Oh, that's
we
great.
could level everybody in real life. Well, not in real life, in the meta.
Yeah.
But like I could turn up my cousin and say turn Veronique down when she's on the phone.
I mean, I would like to mute people in real life
Your
for sure.
phone voice is bonkers loud.
My on my phone.
When you're talking to somebody on the phone, like if we're in the apartment together and you're talking to somebody on the phone, your volume goes up 10 levels.
Oh, weird.
You like scream into the phone.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm a screamer. I didn't know. While you've been on the phone with me?
No, it's not on the receiving end.
Okay.
It's when I'm sitting in the room next to you.
I know that, but on the receiving end, am I too loud?
I mean, it's fine because if I was on the receiving end, I just turn the volume down.
Just turn me down.
Yeah.
Mute. Do you know what I found out recently?
What'd you find out recently?
That birds
aren't real.
No, birds are real. Oh my gosh. Why are people trying to pretend that things aren't real? The planet is round.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
If birds aren't real, where did the dinosaurs go?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. If birds aren't real, what do we eat on Thanksgiving?
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm saying. How crazy are people?
What is in the Popeye spicy chicken sandwich if birds aren't real?
Right.
We need to turn down the volume on some of these conspiracists.
You're correct. 100%. It's out of control.
Yeah, like the internet gives a loud voice to the craziest people, the people that are willing to shout crazy to the heavens. Whereas the sane people are like, well, I'm not going to shout.
Right. No, they say, I'm not going to shout. I'm going to look that up and I'm going to know that that's not true.
Scientists are like, well, I'm going to figure out all the reasons you're wrong. I'm going to put all these data points together. I'm going to write a long thesis on why you're wrong. And I'm going to put it behind a paywalled journal.
Yes.
Rather than just shout out birds aren't real.
Right. Yeah. No, they're too smart. Too smart for their own good. It's exhausting to hear.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy that they would rather think that there's the pizza parlor with,
with a basement, with child trafficking going on in the basement of a pizza parlor that doesn't even have a basement.
It doesn't even have a basement.
And like thinking that the world is flat. Just why? Why would that be what society's lying to you about?
Right.
Because it's just round. Why?
It's round.
Why are we even having this discussion?
Yes.
Like anybody with an education above second grade that says that the earth is flat should just be laughed out of the room. Why?
Yes.
But the internet gave these people a voice.
They gave them a voice.
And so now that volume got turned up too loud.
That people are like, wait a minute.
And as soon as Twitter starts to be like, oh, let's turn down the rhetoric on this. Let's put a couple warning labels on some of these misleading tweets. Elon Musk buys the whole company and tries to not only undo labeling, but give everybody that wants it verification. And so like misinformation is just running even more rampant.
But that's the objective, right? Like that is the objective that he doesn't want to censor anything, but consistently they're wrong. Consistently. Like the midterms just happened.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to have a big red wave. And as soon as it doesn't happen, they're like, oh my God, wait a minute. People aren't as dumb as we thought. Like,
Wait
come
a second.
on.
What happened to the big red wave that we made up and started shouting, and then people started repeating it because we had the loudest voice in the room?
Yes.
What happened to that?
What happened to that?
Well, you made it up.
You made it up. You made it up.
And everybody is talking about Donald Trump's reaction in the midterms. Who cares?
cares?
He was a one-term, twice impeached president.
And he stole secret documents. Like,
He tried to overthrow the U.S. government, and he's not been president for 2 years. He's headed an insurrection against the U.S. government, and we're all turning him to see what did Donald Trump think of the midterms that he wasn't even for?
Right.
Who cares?
Right. What did you think? Who cares?
Why is the loudest voice in the room? Talk about sound mixing.
Yes.
Why is the loudest voice in the room going to the person with the least amount of education?
Yeah, the misinformation. Yes. It's
my
outrageous.
gosh.
It's crazy.
And they're turning down the volume on Game of Thrones.
What? We need more of that.
Let's just bring in Daenerys and burn this whole thing down.
I mean, but how quickly did they shut that noise out, right? They're literally like, oh, Trumpty Dumpty. They realized.
Everybody turned against Trump. We're still talking about him.
We're still talking about him. I'm so tired of it.
Stop talking about
Stop
him.
talking about him. Just silence him.
Yeah, just turn
mute.
that on mute. Just in the metaverse, just that character goes all the way down to zero.
All the way down to mute because he's not relevant anymore. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Let's turn down those commercials.
Yes.
Let's level out the volume.
Also, enough with the breaking news. Nothing's breaking. Nothing's breaking.
Well,
all right?
Arguably everything's breaking.
Everything's breaking all the time. Ah! I'm sorry. Is that too loud?
This has been an episode of Grumble Goat.
Thanks for listening.
I'm Mat Labatka.
I'm Veronique Hurley. Please subscribe.
I hate when people say please subscribe.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
I'm talking to the imaginary character, but the audience is you.
Thanks for listening. And while I have your attention, if you've been enjoying the show, don't forget to leave a review and don't forget to Grumble Goat responsibly and share with a friend.